Today, I would like to introduce you to Western Digital Arkeia. But before I do, I want to remind you that not only is Western Digital the world's largest manufacturer of hard disk drives and largest provider of consumer storage solutions, we also have a line of business storage solutions including network, storage server, and network backup, which we call Arkeia. Now, with that said, today's agenda, we'll take a look at the market overview and the competitive landscape. Then we'll talk about WD Arkeia and product benefits. We'll get into how to choose the right deployment for you and your environment. We'll get into key differentiating technologies. And finally, we'll get into a quick demo of the product. We'll open up the UI. We'll take a look at a few pages there. And finally, we'll summarize and we'll close with a bunch of questions and answers. So as Britton mentioned, feel free to take advantage of that questions box and fill the questions in there as we go along. Don't be shy, and we'll get to address all of them towards the end of our webinar today. Data protection market, as seen in 2012, it's a huge market at the size of $4.4 billion. As you can see, Symantec is probably the biggest player in this field, with two different products of Backup Exec, which is more towards mid-enterprise and somewhat SMB, and also Net Backup, which is more suitable for larger enterprise networks, followed by other vendors such as EMC, IBM, Commvault, HP, and so on and so forth. It's a great opportunity. This market keeps growing in size. Number of different types of backup and disaster recovery products, and we always have a newcomer into the game. As you can see, we've broken down the market in three different sections. The very smaller portion of the SMB, all the way up to enterprise level backup and disaster recovery products. And as you can see, Western Digital Arkeia is right in the middle, very well positioned in between the enterprise and a small to medium business type of backup and disaster recovery. This gives us a great opportunity to bring you mid-enterprise or even enterprise level type of feature with an SMB type of pricing. So moving on, more information about Western Digital and our progression. Back in 1988, Western Digital started with storage components. And immediately right after that, we became a market leader, giving you the best storage for desktop and enterprise level storage. And in 2007, we started with consumer products. Immediately right after that, became the market leader in that section as well, with products such as MyBook and other products you see in consumer level today. Around 2011, we started a new division called Business Storage Solutions. The goal is to bring you NAS storage server products such as Sentinel. Again, we have different types of webinars for that, so I do encourage you to take a look at them. And our network backup, WD Arkeia, and obviously the goal is to become the market leader in that section as well. Now, a little bit more information about network backup for business. We started this since 1999, and Arkeia product comes in three different installation options. You can have an appliance. You can obviously install Arkeia as a purpose-built backup appliance, and everything's included. The storage, enterprise-level storage, RAID 6 controllers, and everything is fine-tuned for the purpose of that backup. The amount of memory you have in the appliance, the CPU power is based on deduplications, and so on and so forth. You can also have Arkeia installed as a software application, running on your Linux-based operating system, giving you very reliable a backup server in the background. And also you can have Arkeia installed as a virtual machine, as a virtual appliance. You can have Arkeia virtualized on your ESX or ESXi platform. The differences are just about which type of deployment works better for your environment. If you have a fully virtualized environment, perhaps the virtual machine is a good idea. But if you're thinking about reliability of having that enterprise level hybrid backup at a local level plus offsite replication, then obviously appliance is a better idea. Key technologies, few things we offer for you today. The first one will be patented progressive deduplication. We'll get into that in more detail. As you know, there are different types of deduplication, giving you different ratios of compression, if it's file level, if it's block level, if it's variable level, and finally progressive level, which is the best compression ratio. There's something called multi-flow. Multi-flow allows you to create groups and back up your servers, your workstations within that group simultaneously. You can back up all of them, up to 200 devices simultaneously. This gives you a new basically feature and an opportunity to back up your business critical servers with higher priorities. Unlike typical legacy applications you see in the market today where they used to queue your job and the backup period will take much longer to finish, having a major impact to your recovery point objective. So multi-flow allows you to back up faster, improving your recovery point objective. Also, seed and feed. Keep in mind the biggest challenge with offsite replication, with a hybrid cloud backup appliance, is the fact that you have to replicate that first big full backup offsite using your bandwidth. And today we know probably the most expensive piece is that bandwidth cost and limitation. So seed and feed allows you to utilize the media such as a hard drive, a USB-based hard drive. You can plug it to your Arkeia appliance, take a copy of that initial full backup and replicate offsite faster, more efficiently. Seed and feed will help you with that. Take a look at the UI on the top right-hand side of your screen. We'll get into more details. We'll jump into the product itself and take a look at it. But keep in mind, Arkeia supports disk backups as well as tape backups and cloud targets, if it's a private cloud, if it's a public cloud, and we also promote replication between them. So you can create a better backup and DR strategy for you and your business. Also, a broad platform support for different types of operating systems and applications. Arkeia supports the north of 243 different types of operating systems and applications. These agents are minimal in size, in most cases even less than 1 megabyte, and also they help you and assist you with hot backups. If you have a SQL server, if you have an Exchange or SharePoint or other applications such as Oracle DB2s and so on and so forth, these agents will help you back up those applications without even shutting down the system and stopping that service. So that's the objective. And a broad range of operating systems are protected. Backward compatibility. These are few, again, abilities of the agent and the product makes it really affordable. Backward compatibility of those backup agents. Remember, the product is agent-based. Once you install an agent on your target server to protect that server, you don't have to go back and keep upgrading those agents again and again every time there's a new version out there. This helps you with reducing man hours. You don't have to do a sneakernet all the time and update those agents. If you have a new version for your backup server, you don't have to go back and update your agents all the time. A single solution like Arkeia backs up your physical and your virtual environment. This is very important and will help you with reducing the total cost of ownership. You don't have to have multiple backup products in your network to protect the entire environment. This way, Arkeia covers them all, reducing the total cost of ownership. Also, most importantly, there is no per agent fees. We don't have per server licensing. We do something called bundled licensing. If you have different types of Microsoft applications such as Exchange and multiple SQL servers and multiple SharePoint and multiple Exchange, only one Arkeia Microsoft bundle license is necessary to cover them all. This means, again, will make it more cost effective. Will help you even add new service like more Exchange and more SQL servers to be backed up by Arkeia without you paying extra money for that. If you need any more help on tips for better data deduplication, and if you'd like to get more information on data sheets and perhaps looking at other webinars, again, these are all available on our website. So purpose-built backup appliances. The objective is to help you back up at a local level on a reliable backup source and also replicate offsite to a cloud, to a far computer, to a far storage for safekeeping in case of a disaster. WD Arkeia offers you a variety of different types of appliances. To the left-hand side, you can see DA1300 and DA2300. These are much smaller in size, designed for smaller portion of the SMB, beginning with 2 terabytes, going up all the way up to 8 terabyte usable storage. And to the right-hand side, you can see the much larger, bigger brother appliances from 4300 all the way down to RA6300. These appliances go all the way up to 48 terabyte raw storage capacity, which means after RAID 6 controllers, they become 40 terabyte. And that's just before deduplication. If you add the deduplication factor to it, you can save up to like even more than 200 terabytes on the largest appliance. So keep that in mind. But the objective here is to show you a reliable appliance, a purpose-built backup appliance at a local level, plus an offsite replication. Some more information about these smaller appliances. I don't want to dig into it and spend more time here, but then again, just take a look. In some of our appliances, we also use SSD storage for indexing purposes. Not for the main storage, but for indexing, as you know, when it comes to backup, creating those incrementals and links, and specifically deduplication metadata requires a quick access. That's why SSD can help. Even with our smaller appliances, you can see in DA2300 comes with 128 gigabyte of SSD for indexing. Moving on, more information about larger appliances. As you can see, the larger appliance goes up to 48 terabyte raw capacity, and also SSD is also included, right, with the 5300 and the 6300 appliance. And finally, better performance, more memory, just to be able to cope with the amount of data you have. Also, what I wanted to mention here is there's an option to extend and connect your Arkeia appliance to other devices such as tape. So there's an option to do, first of all, 10 gig cards with the larger appliances, as well as fiber channel cards and fast cards. You can have them connected. Now you can plug in your tape drive or tape loader to your Arkeia appliance and create a better, even better backup strategy, such as disk to tape or disk to cloud. And the best one I would say probably is disk to cloud to tape type of replication, giving you much more reliable backup and VR strategy. Arkeia is fast, is easy to use, and is affordable. Arkeia is fast because of progressive deduplication. It gives you better, improved recovery point objectives, meaning shorter backup times, meaning faster replication offsite. It's easy to use because of the web UI, because of simple licensing of the product. Again, we don't have per server licensing. You don't have to worry about it. All we need to know is how many terabytes need to be protected and what type of applications you like to protect to cover necessary license bundles for that. One product covers them all, reducing your total cost of ownership, unlimited file and folder backup agents. With that basic bundle, even without having other bundles, you can easily cover most of those operating systems with the file and folder level. If you add other agents, you can do better. Again, there's no extra cost for those agents. Server connects to all previous versions of agents. Again, no need to keep upgrading those backup agents installed on your protected service. Extensive reporting and alerting makes you be proactive, allows you to see all those events happening on a backup server and take action if needed. And don't forget, it's affordable. Arkeia is affordable because we're bringing you an enterprise-level solution with an SMB type of cost with a simple pricing. Now, let's get into the deployment type for your environment. As I said earlier, Arkeia can be deployed in 3 different forms. You can have a purpose-built backup appliance, the middle option, which is a physical appliance with enterprise-level storage. You can also have Arkeia as a software. You can have it as a software, a normal software installed on your Linux platform. You can also have it as a virtual appliance virtualize on your EXX or ESXi VMware server. The option is yours in case of a physical appliance. Obviously, the storage is included. In case of a software, now you have to provide your own storage, which again means extra cost. Obviously, that's why most of our customers prefer to have that enterprise level storage, because it will be more cost effective. But again, the option is available to you if you'd like to choose the other methods. Just a quick table comparing these different deployment options. Very quickly, just want to show you something very colorful here. As you can see, for example, if you are looking for speed of provisioning, if you like to script things, if you want to be able to deploy your backup server immediately and have it virtualized immediately, probably a virtual machine is a better answer, because it can script things and you can have it up and running immediately. If you're thinking about flexibility, if you want to build your own backup server the way you want to, then perhaps the software deployment of Arkeia is a better answer, because when it comes to software, you control all the aspects of the code. You decide how you want to deploy it, what kind of storage you want to use, if it's RAID 5, RAID 6, RAID 10, you control all those options. But if you're thinking about getting a solution which has everything included for you, everything was well thought, put together, gone through a heavy benchmark testing, making sure the memory power, the memory space, the CPU power is done correctly based on progressive deduplication, based on backup performance, based on the amount of data. If you're thinking about a fully engineered solution, if you're thinking about minimizing that tech expertise, the required tech expertise, to minimizing that, then physical appliance is the right answer for you. So think about it, see which one works better for you, but then again, I can remind you, most of our customers prefer to go with the appliance because it's already done. It takes them about 5 to 10 minutes to have this installed and have it up and running. With that said, I want to get into a few other key technologies of Arkeia. Keep in mind, Western Digital Arkeia is a hybrid cloud backup, backing up to a local level first, and also replicating offsite for safekeeping. And we'll talk about private cloud and public cloud shortly. Also, seed and feed will help you get over that bandwidth issue, helping you speed up that replication offsite. Patented progressive. Remember, it's not just about reducing your disk storage at a local level. It's also about helping you replicate offsite more efficiently. So progressive deduplication helps a lot. Heavily depends on the type of data you're protecting. If it's a flat file, if it's a text file, if it's database, if it's something like that, then you should expect much better progressive compression ratio. Or if you're backing up like snapshots and pictures and kind of stale images, then compression normally doesn't apply there, doesn't work well because of the type of data you're backing up. So maybe a little bit less compression ratio. But in average, I can easily say you should expect to see about 5x or even more for progressive deduplication. Think about private cloud and public cloud. Instead of replicating to Amazon S3, which is also an option for you, but a lot of different customers coming from different verticals, financials, medical, if they have to comply with HIPAA or Sarbanes-Oxley, and other verticals, they sometimes don't like to have their data leave their site. They prefer to have replication done between their own offices. So if you have multiple offices, if you have different buildings in different states, why not? You can easily go ahead and have multiple Arkeia appliances replicating data between each other. So keep that in mind, it's a good idea. Backward agent compatibility, again, it's a great technology. It's something you don't see a lot out there. Every time other products update their agents, they have to go around and update every machine on the network. In our case, you don't have to do that. We'll make it much easier, more cost effective, and reducing your man hours. Encryption is very necessary. You want to encrypt at a local level. You need to encrypt in transfer. You must encrypt on the cloud storage. So Arkeia gives you encryption, gives you different types of encryption, very valuable, keeping your data safe at all times. And most importantly, no per server licensing. I think this is the greatest news, because coming from competitors, we speak to a lot of those customers who tell us specifically, this is a great value. We don't want to waste money on, providing or buying licenses for 50 SQL servers that I have. I mean, why do I have to pay for 50 licenses for those 50 servers? One Microsoft bundle covers them all. Here's a good example of a cloud backup, something you see a lot today, specifically with much smaller customers, the smaller portion of the SMB, that little s of the SMB, backing up directly into the cloud. I don't want to name names, but the backup goes directly to the cloud. The problem with that is, slow backups and slow restores. The data is safe in the cloud, but, what about recovery point objectives and recovery time objectives? How long it takes to backup, as well as how long it takes to restore. So cloud backup, it's popular when it comes to maybe even home users, perhaps consumer level backup, and really small customers. What you need is something called hybrid cloud backup, which backup happens at a local level first, giving you that local protection, making sure your backups are fast, your recovery is even faster, and you have an offsite replication for safekeeping. The data is encrypted in case of a disaster, like a natural disaster, like earthquake, fire, or so and so. I mean, in that case, you want to be able to recover your data from an offsite storage. So hybrid cloud backup, I would say, is the best approach for you. Just a quick, just very quickly showing you, how Arkeia hybrid cloud backup works for you. Again, in this case, you do have an Arkeia appliance at a local level. The seed and feed happens using this little USB hard drive to the offsite, and subsequent incrementals happen thereafter. So keep that in mind. Very quickly, let's talk about deduplication before we jump into the UI here. There are different types of deduplication, like file level backup, fixed block deduplication, and also variable blocks, and finally the progressive level. One thing I can remind you is it's about the speed of the backup. It's about the speed of that deduplication and the performance of that deduplication. For example, when it comes to file level deduplication, you get the excellent speed only because you just need to compare the files together. If there's a 1 block or 1K or even 1 letter difference between files, you need to copy the whole thing again. So the speed of deduplication is great, but the performance is not that much because it's not granular. It looks into every file, and all those files have to be exactly identical. Fixed block level deduplication addressed that issue by getting into files and using 4K blocks. So you got definitely much better compression ratio out of it. The speed was good. The compression ratio was kind of fair, but again, they had their own issues. Now, variable level tried to help and improve that some more, but this time the variable level means you can change the size of your blocks within that file you're trying to deduplicate. This will give you much better compression ratio, but the speed goes down because of that extra processing time. So take a look at this section of this table. If you get a fair compression, you have a better speed. If you have a good speed, you only have a fair compression, right? So it's like in the opposite direction of each other. And that issue was definitely addressed and corrected by progressive deduplication. So progressive deduplication gives you the speed and the performance, the best speed and the best performance in the market. Remember, it gives you the speed of similar to your fixed block level, and gives you the performance and the compression ratio of a variable block level. So it addresses those issues. Again, it's about giving you more disk space back at a local level and helping you with offsite replication, speeding up the process with the offsite replication. Let's talk about private cloud versus public cloud, just for a couple of seconds. There are different pros and cons comparing private cloud and public cloud. Taking a look at public cloud, the cloud storage is simply a far computer, is storage on a far computer. If that storage is on somebody else's network, it becomes a public cloud. If it is on your own network, perhaps a different building, but still your own perimeter, that becomes a private cloud. A private cloud, installing the private cloud, basically allows you better security and less expensive in the long run. But the problem with the private cloud is you have that upfront cost and upfront investment, the capital expenditure to purchase the gear and set up your own data center and replicate to it. So you do have upfront, but the long run might be a little bit cheaper. And the con is also requires tech expertise. You need to know how to do that. You might need to get some help from somebody to come and set up that data center for you. Compare that to a public cloud. When it comes to public cloud, you don't have those problems. You don't have to spend an upfront cost and get someone to come and set it up for you. There's no upfront cost at all. And the ongoing cost is an issue, right? So the pro is zero investment and easily expandable. You can just keep adding extra blocks of storage to it. But the con is obviously limited physical access and less perhaps security and encryption. When your data leaves your perimeter, it's, you know, anybody's basically kind of game. Anybody can have access to it, right? Even if your data is encrypted, keep that in mind. Other organizations like NSA and other organizations can demand access to that data. You don't have those problems if your data is on your own site. So which one's better for you? Think about it. Arkeia supports them both. You can have public cloud, you can have private cloud, but the thought of a public cloud, it's about security and encryption. When it comes to private cloud, you just need to have another deployment of Arkeia offsite. It could be virtual Arkeia, could be software Arkeia, could be a physical Arkeia again. With that, what I wanted to do, I wanted to jump into the UI just to show you around, just to take a look at the UI. Keep in mind, we can talk about the product for hours and hours, but I wanted to just keep it simple. Let's take a look at the UI. If you have any more questions later on, we'll be more than happy to get back into that and show you some more. The UI is pretty straightforward, very intuitive. What I hear from our customers and looking at our case studies, they just say it's easy to go around and find the backup and how to run the restore, how to check my report, how to do my alert. It's pretty straightforward. Take a look at configuration. It's easy. You should be able to set up the box by plugging it in and going through the wizard and asking some simple questions about IP numbers and date and time and credentials and having your appliance up and running immediately. Once you've done that, next step is to add some clients. Basically the product is agent-based. You can install some agents on your target machines and add them one by one. And we have agents for almost everything. If it's SQL, if it's Oracle, if it's DB2, if it's whatever the application might be, is protected. So add your client here, and then we can create a backup job for it in about a few minutes. We obviously back up your VM environment as well, your VMware, your Hyper-V. Again, that's a benefit of Arkeia, protecting the physical and virtual environment. All you need to do is to connect to the host. We do have like VStorage APIs, and using that we can connect to your vCenter, to your ESXi, VStorage, and we can see those guest images and we can back them up individually, or perhaps all of them. Cloud storage, it's very simple. You can define a cloud storage on this Arkeia appliance, and this storage can be used by other Arkeia appliances for replication. This is how you set up your mesh, your network of Arkeia appliances, and create your own replication. This is an enterprise level feature. Unlike smaller backup and disaster recovery, or also known as BDR products, where you must replicate to that vendor's data center and pay that extra cost on a monthly basis. This way, you just replicate your own Arkeia, let deduplication shrink the size and make it much smaller kind of package, improving your offsite replication, and your data never leaves your perimeter. Your data is safe and secure. Let's talk about licenses. Licenses are much easier, as we talked about earlier, right? Bundle license. Just have a Microsoft bundle. For example, by adding Microsoft bundle, immediately you receive these 4 or 5 lines. Active Directory, SharePoint, Exchange, and Microsoft SQL. And by having Microsoft SQL means you can back up as many Microsoft SQLs as you want. There is no limit. These agents are unlimited and they never expire. That's the great thing about it, right? So keeping the cost down, your total cost of ownership. Let's take a look at the backup. Again, very simple, straightforward. The 3 questions are what to back up, where to back up, and when to back up. So taking a look at where to back up, if you are backing up to a local Arkeia appliance, you're basically backing up to a local storage. All this is already done for you, taken care of. You don't have to touch it. If you'd like to back up to a tape drive, just plug in your tape drive to the back of your Arkeia appliance and off you go. You can start backing up to that tape storage. Maybe you like to do this to tape, or perhaps this to cloud to tape. Again, that's a good option. Let's take a look at what to back up very quickly. I want to show you how easy it is to create a backup job. The first thing you must do is to basically call that backup something. Keep in mind, deduplication and compression can happen on Arkeia appliance or even on your server at source. Now, deduplication on source means inline deduplication. Deduplication on Arkeia means post-process deduplication. We support them both. Now, looking at the market, normally people support one or the other. We support them both for you. It's very simple, very effective, and you can scale up much easier. Many options, many enterprise-level options for you here. I don't want to dig into every one of them. Keep in mind, all of those typical legacy-level options are available to you here, such as running command pre and post your backup, or even including or excluding different types of file versions. For example, let's say I don't want to back up MP4 files on the network. Somebody just dumped their movies and music. What's the point of backing up MP4s and MP3s? You can easily do that stuff, so very, very straightforward. Next thing to do, you have different types of backup options. If it's a file level backup, simply put a tick mark next to the files you want to protect. You can also do volume image level backup for your machines. This is a great thing. You can take a snapshot of the volume and then you can do a bare metal recovery later on. This is a great idea for your business critical service. You want to be able to run a bare metal and recover that entire server as it was perhaps an hour ago, maybe a day ago. So BMR is a good idea. And on top of that, take a look at this VStorage API. Using this, we can simply tag into our host and see all those guest images here, and we can back them up for you individually, right? So just put a tick mark next to your guest images. This means Arkeia now is protecting your virtual, your physical, giving you file level backup, giving you image level backup, and all of them under the same package. Click next and click finish, and you're done. Simple as that. You now create a backup schedule. Also, let's take a look at the schedule itself. I mean, the backup collection and then the backup schedule. To create a backup schedule, this is a typical grandfather, father, son method. You can create like monthlies and weeklies and dailies. For the purpose of this demo, let's just call this a demo test. Click next, and I have an option to do monthly full and weekly fulls and daily incrementals or differentials. You can change all that. A typical, a very popular option probably would be a weekly full and daily incrementals. Set your weekly full. For example, I like to run my weekly full on Saturday at around 6 p.m. And then I like to run my daily incrementals around also 6 p.m. on a daily basis, and I like to keep my retention for up to about 28 or let's say even 30 days. Again, another common retention. But remember, retentions are different based on your business need and business requirements. Click next and you are brought to this page. Now you can back up to local tape, you can back up to local disk, which is your local appliance. All you need to do is to choose your save pack and back up to a local drive pack, your local storage. And that's it. Click on finish and you're done. You can immediately have that job scheduled. Let me show you another great feature with Arkeia. You can immediately chain this event to another. You can say, go ahead and run my backup to a local disk at so-and-so schedule, but I also like to replicate the tape. I can do this to tape immediately, right after the backup is done. I don't want to wait till the end of the day. This way, you're going to have a better, more accurate offsite replication, or tape drive replication, or even cloud storage replication. So you have all those options available to you. Or perhaps if you don't have enough bandwidth throughout the day, maybe we can schedule that for later on. Maybe we can schedule that for the end of the day, 2 o'clock in the morning, so you minimize the impact to your bandwidth to your network usage. You don't have to do that 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Do it 2 o'clock in the morning, minimizing the impact. So all those options are available to you. Take a look at the replication, which we just talked about. I can easily create a replication either to tape or to disk or to cloud. Take a look at this one. Scheduled cloud replication. Click on plus. Now I can create an offsite replication. And I like to do that on a daily basis at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? You can set retention for it. You can have perhaps a shorter retention on a local appliance, maybe much longer retention offsite on the other Arkeia appliance. This way, if you must comply with HIPAA, you can keep a 30 days retention on a local appliance and then keep a 7 years retention on the offsite remote appliance. This is how you comply with HIPAA. If I have to comply with Sarbanes-Oxley, this number will change to 5. Keep that in mind. Or perhaps I like to use my secondary Arkeia as an archiving with no end to that storage. I can just use it this way, no end to it, no retention. It will be an archiving. Again, those great features are all available to you. Very quickly, let's take a look at your restore. Keep in mind, your backup is as good as your restore. If you don't have a restore, you don't have a backup. So keep in mind, create some kind of a testing schedule, testing kind of process, making sure your data is safe and everything is working great. So it's a good idea to run some kind of a testing on a weekly basis. But Arkeia gives you a few different recovery options. You can do file restore. You can run Microsoft application recovery. You can also recover your VMware images, and you can recover from a cloud storage. So for file recovery, take a look at this process. It's pretty straightforward. You can select your recovery point, and you can select the data you want to recover, put a tick mark next to it, and recover that. Straightforward, right? So you have an option to change your access rights, your access ACL rights, basically. You can also redirect to different machines and dump them into a different area. You can do that and recover from any recovery point. You can also recover the entire application. If you lost your Exchange server, if you lost your SQL server, simply put a tick mark in here. We'll give you an option for those different recovery points and recover the way it was on a previous day. But you recover the entire SQL server. You can recover the entire Exchange or Active Directory. This is another option. In case of VMware and VMDKs, you can simply recover your entire VMDK from that backup, and you can recover to the same ESX or ESXi server, or perhaps even a different machine. No problem. You can do that easily. Another great option with Arkeia is you can select your VMDK, and now you even have an option to do a file level recovery from that server. How great is that? You don't even have to mount it. Simple. Get the file restored and bring it back. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Much easier. In this case, one big note for you, you must have an agent installed in that guest image. If you don't have an agent in your guest image, you can just get the VMDK recovered, which in some cases is exactly what you want, and that's fair enough. But in some cases, you may want to recover file level, and in that case, please install an agent in your server. And the final option will be a cloud storage recovery. This is when you have a disaster. Let's say if the whole building is gone, God forbid, for some kind of a natural disaster, fire, earthquake, or so and so on. In this case, you can recover the entire storage from a cloud storage, or even you can run an indexing on a target server, and you can now have access to full structure. You can recover even files out of that cloud storage and recover to a local destination. So those options are available to you. So we're getting closer to the end of our webinar today. What I want to do is, again, encourage you. Type your questions, and we'll get to answer them very shortly. Now, with that said, again, we can talk about this product for hours and hours, but I do encourage you to go to our website. Go to arkeia.com/download. You have an option to download our virtual machine. You have an option to download our software free of charge for 30 days. You can test it, play with it. If you need help and assistance, let us know. But if you also need to play with the appliance, that's also available to you. So let us know about that. We can ship you an appliance. You can play with that. And you need help, please let us know. With that said, let's go to the next portion of our presentation, which in summary, just wanted to mention. Again, Arkeia it's easy to use, it's affordable, it's fast. When it comes to storage, when it comes to capacity of those appliances, they're from 4 terabyte all the way up to 48 terabyte raw capacity. They come in both desktop and rack mount kind of factors. If it's a small business, perhaps a smaller box works better. If it's a larger business, you might have a rack mount, you have your own network room, then the rack mount appliance works better for you. So all those options are available. If it's physical appliance, virtual software itself, again, those are available. The UI is very simple, very intuitive. One view dashboard manages the entire Arkeia environment, and the differentiating features. Remember, this is a hybrid cloud backup, helping you with seed and feed with the Offsite Application, helping you with progressive deduplication. There's no even extra cost for that. Most of our competitors actually charge for that extra deduplication. We don't have extra cost. It's part of your basic bundle. Keep that in mind. And always, always think about private cloud versus public cloud, your security, your data encryption, at a local level, pardon me, in transfer and address on remote sites. With that,